Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It is trade deadline season. We're just 1 hour away from the trade deadline being over with. And already we have a flurry of moves that have taken place that is changing the landscape of the NBA. A little bit. At least some of your second-tier teams is changing the landscape. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with our New York Knicks. The Knicks did make a slight move today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with the Knicks, and then we'll get on to everything else that happened. So the Knicks make a move to get rid of Austin Rivers, and we knew it was going to happen. And they bring in a Terrence. Not the Terrence that I was vouching for, but they brought in a Terrence Fergusson, guy on the end of the bench for the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's the deal. Philadelphia, they acquired George Hill for Tony Bradley and Terrence Fergusson, and they also received 2 future second-round picks. All right, the deal got fleshed out so that everybody knew what was happening. In the deal, the Knicks received Terrence Fergusson. The Knicks also sent Iggy Brasdeikis to Philadelphia in a 3-way deal. And then the Sixers, they get second-round picks in 2025. I'm sorry, the Sixers send second-round picks to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's recap it. Let's put it all together. Philadelphia is receiving George Hill. The Knicks receive Terrence Fergusson. Philadelphia also receives Iggy Brasdeikis. And OKC, they receive 2025 and 2026 second-round picks and Tony Bradley. All right, so, the Knicks put a guy at the end of the bench that is better than Iggy Brasdeikis. They also, move on from Austin Rivers. All right, so it works. It works. But you know what's even bigger? They cleared up a roster spot. Right? And that means something, ladies and gentlemen. That means something. They cleared up that roster spot so that they can, maybe make another move. But let's talk about a few other things that happened. And then, well, actually, before we even do that, let's get over here to, we got Steph and we got Nate, and find out what they think about the moves that we just made, or the move that we made. And after we get a little, talk about that a little bit, then we'll go in and we'll give a rundown of everything that's happened so far today and what we think might happen. So let's bring them on over here. You welcome Steph. You welcome Nate. All right. And we're going to go ahead and get into this. Talk a little bit. Steph, how you doing this afternoon?
Yep. I'm doing pretty good. The Knicks ain't make the move I wanted them to make yet. I haven't eaten all day because I got a procedure tomorrow, so I'm a little irritable. Okay. I'm looking to see if something else happens. But, Fergusson, I'm not sure how much he's going to play on this team. I'm more interested, like you saying, in the extra spot that's has been opened up. Do they have something up their sleeve, so to speak, on that buyout market? So that's what I'm looking to hear, though I do see somebody in the chat saying that we got somebody else as well in that deal, and we might not have a roster spot open. We'll see.
We'll see. These deals sometimes take a little while to, finalize and know all the parts that are moving, but Terrence Fergusson, was a 2017 draft pick, an athletic guy. He's, I think, 22 or 23 years old, so maybe he's still got some time to develop into something, or he's a piece that can be moved later on in another deal at some point. But, he does give you a stronger guy at the end of the bench than Iggy Brazdeikis, in my opinion. When you talk about Terrence Fergusson, and he's an athletic guy. We need as much athletes as we can get on this team. So obviously it's nothing major, but maybe it's leading up to something major because now we do have a roster spot which will be filled either through trade or in the buyout market. Nate?
No, I mean, I like Terrence Fergusson. I mean, he came out of high school, so, he was kind of unpolished. And when he would play for OKC, he had some good games. I like his size. He's 6'6". He's 22 years old. I mean, I'd like to see, it's maybe some point, I mean, probably right now, not now because of rotation with Tibbs, but maybe like, down the line, if, for whatever reasons, the Knicks kind of fall out of contention, I'd like to see what this kid's got, I mean,
yeah,
I think he's got some skill. I really do. I mean, he's got great size for a shooting guard. So I've kind of been a fan of him since he came to the NBA. So I was kind of glad we got him. I am bummed out that we didn't get Gary Trent Jr., man. I didn't know that he was on the block. Like, man, I would have loved to have Trent
never
Jr.
know. I mean, sometimes, sometimes it's not put out there that this or that player is put on the block. You know, and then someone is, there's a deal and they're like, hey, we want Gary Trent Jr. And it's like, okay, we want to get this done. So you just never know. According to Steve Popper, he believes that there's a pick coming to the Knicks and is a Philadelphia second rounder. So I guess we will, and the Knicks also getting Vincent Poirier back in the deal. So that turns out to be a bigger deal than was initially reported, and does fill that roster spot. Although that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean other moves can't be made because that roster spot is now filled. Let's take a look at some other things that's going on today. A lot of things popping off today. Let's start with the big one because the Orlando Magic, they're cleaning the decks. Basically, they have cleaned the decks. All right, so here's the deal that Orlando made with the Bulls that sends Nikola Vucevic to Chicago. All right, the Bulls, this is according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Bulls land Nikola Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu for Otto Porter, Wendell Carter Jr., and 2 first-round picks. All right, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, that's a huge addition for Chicago, who remains in pursuit of Lonzo Ball. All right, and the Magic are now moving toward a rebuild, and we'll get into some more of what the Orlando Magic did. The Bulls also send a 2021 and a 2023 first-round pick in the deal to Orlando. Okay, Orlando's not finished with that. All right. According to Woj, Orlando sent Evan Fournier to Boston for 2 second-round picks. I think that has a lot of Knicks fans a little bit perturbed. Like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me we could have got a 19-point-per-game scorer for 2 second-round picks? And we didn't jump on it? And he's on an expiring contract, I believe. So I think that one right there maybe had a few people upset that the Knicks didn't jump into that move. But that kind of tells me, because that sounds like a deal that Leon Rose would jump on, because they had discussions with Orlando from reports about Evan Fournier. Right? Evan Fournier makes $17.1 million this season, and it would have fit nicely into that $15 million that the Knicks have. All right, with the Knicks, it would maybe been a little bit more to the deal so that they can fit them into that, because he makes $17 million. The Knicks only had $15 million. So maybe it didn't work out because of that, because Orlando didn't want to take back Austin Rivers or something like that. You know what I mean? Who knows? But that could be the case. And the reason why it didn't work out, because remember, Boston had a trade exception, $28.5 million trade exception that they could use. So they didn't have to take back a player. Or Orlando didn't have to take back a player in this trade. They just, boom, got rid of Evan Fournier and took back draft picks. You know what I'm saying? So it works out for Orlando that way, where with the Knicks, there would have had to been other players exchanged. That may be one of the reasons the Knicks didn't get involved in that deal. And then Aaron Gordon is on his way to Denver. The trade includes, Denver and Orlando, they agreed on the Aaron Gordon deal. So you got Aaron Gordon going to Denver, and then you have Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a first-round pick going to the Magic. Right? Denver is also trading its protected 2025 first-round pick in the deal. So that's a move for that's a big move for the Nuggets, bringing in Aaron Gordon, to add to that roster. All right, and then you got some smaller things that have taken place. Corey Joseph, Delon Wright for Corey Joseph. The Kings, the Detroit Pistons are trading guard Delon Wright to the Sacramento Kings for guard Corey Joseph and 2 second-round picks. The Kings are sending a 2021 second-round pick through the Lakers and their own 2024 second-round pick to the Pistons in the deal. You got Denver. They also acquired JaVale McGee for Isaiah Hartenstein and two future protected second-round picks. Cleveland is acquiring a 2027 unprotected second-round pick and in 2020 and a 2023 protected second-round pick protected through number 46. All right, so and then there's a couple other smaller deals that I'm going to bring up, but before we get to that, I just want to get you guys' opinions on what we've seen so far. What's your thoughts on Vucevic going to Chicago? Go ahead, Steph.
I'm not intimidated by Chicago, even with him, So let's see what their defense is going to be. He does make them better. I think Marketing is on his way out as well, but I guess I don't know if they could play together. Let's see. I mean, I think it was good for them, but it's not something where I'm looking at the Knicks and looking at Chicago and I'm like, wow, I don't know how we're going to be able to compete with this team. But yeah, it was a good move for them.
Okay. All right. And they may not be done if they're trying to, obviously they're trying to land Lonzo Ball, and I think the Knicks are still trying to land Lonzo Ball as well.
That's a whole other story.
That changes a lot.
Oh man, yeah. Now I'm intimidated.
Right. That changes a lot right there if that happens.
Yeah.
Nate, what's your take on that trade? That Vucevic to Chicago.
I mean, they land Ball. There's, head and shoulders. I think they're better than us. I mean, Zach LaVine's an all-star. Vucevic can score at a high level too. You add Ball to that situation, man. That's a nice little three-player tandem right there.
Yeah, it is.
I honestly think, just personally, my opinion, Vucevic and LaVine are dangerous by themselves. I mean, you add Ball to the mix, that's just gravy on top of the mashed potatoes. I mean, Vucevic can score crazy. Zach LaVine can score. I mean, defensively, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But that's not going to be an easy out with the Bulls. And they still got other talent. They still got White. They still got they got Williams.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, watch out for the Bulls, man.
They still got talent, and clearly they're not done.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work for them and Lonzo Ball, then you know, they might be looking to make some other moves other places. Now, I did read from Steve Popper along the lines of the Knicks, you know, because we're talking about how now they might stack up against the Knicks. That the Knicks may be in talks with Los Angeles and Toronto to help facilitate Kyle Lowry going to the Lakers, something that I was talking about yesterday when we were talking about Dennis Schroeder, right? Because Dennis Schroeder makes $15.5 million, and the Knicks have the ability to absorb a lot of that contract, which means they can be players in that trade if they want to, if that trade is going down, and maybe bring back someone like a Dennis Schroeder to help clear some space for the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, so that's something that I'm looking for as well. It may not be Lonzo Ball, but, you know, they may be able to bring back a guy like Dennis Schroeder, as well as maybe a second-round draft pick, right? And still keep their cap space clear. And not give up, you know, not give up that cap space so that they could possibly sign maybe Lonzo Ball in the summer or whoever else comes available. We'll see how that works out. A lot of stuff going on right now that, you know, there's only 35 minutes left. You know, there's enough time for deals to happen, but, you know, time is starting to get short. Of course, you know, deals start to come in sometimes still a half an hour afterwards, after the deadline. Other trades that have gone down so far. Miami is sending Mo Harkless and Chris Silver to the Kings. All right. For the Nemanja Bjelica. All right, so we'll see how that works out for Miami. Miami always seems to be, you know, have some smart trades on tap. You also got, let's see who else we got in here. You got Toronto. They traded Norman Powell to Portland for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. All right, that's what Nate was talking about earlier. You got the Washington Wizards. They send Troy Brown and Moe Wagner to Chicago for Daniel Gafford and Chandler Hutchinson. So there you go, Chicago again, building out that bench, right? Because Troy Brown is a guy that can play some basketball, and Moe Wagner, you know, he can shoot it. Lauri Markkanen could be on the move. He could be on the move because Moe Wagner, he does a lot of what Lauri Markkanen does. Maybe not on Lauri Markkanen's level, but he does a lot of what Lauri Markkanen does. And now you got Vucevic down there as well. So, you know, a lot of things happening in Chicago. I don't want to say that they're going for it. I don't want to say that, but they're definitely saying, hey, we're going to make sure. Yeah, we're going to make sure that we get into the playoffs this season as we are, you know, building and going. Kev, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. I'm doing great. How is everybody doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
So far, so
Could
good,
be
man.
better depending on what happens.
Yeah, little madness going on and everything. Just a little madness and everything. Yeah, man, this is, you know, what it's all about. What trade deadline is, trying to make those last minute pitches to make their teams better. So, and we fall right in there and everything.
And you know, although these things are coming down to the last minute, the last day, the last hour, whatever, teams have been discussing these trades for months, probably for 1 or 2 months. Right? They've been calling and on the phone and trying to figure out, you know, what's what's happening right now. Adrian Wojnarowski, he says the Hawks and the Clippers have been discussing a trade for Rajon Rondo to send Rondo to the Clippers, right? Because they need some point guard help.
Yeah.
So there you go. What'd you say?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Nate?
Well, it's back to LA again for Rondo.
Yeah, to the other team.
Yeah,
to the other team.
And look, Terrence Ross sent out a tweet of a guy sweating, waving himself, cooling himself down because he's like, dang, Evan Fournier got traded, Aaron Gordon got traded, Vucevic got traded. Who else you think is next? Right? He's going to be right. So, yeah.
That really, hey, Sim, that what the Magic did just really, really surprised me, because now with those three trades happening, that tells me that they are all in for, I would call it a rebuild, pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's what they're doing.
All that is
they weren't going anywhere, Kev.
Right. Well, you know what? I kind of thought that they would, because of the coach they have in Clifford. I know you need players and everything, but you look at Tibbs and everything, what he's doing with us. You got the right coach, the right leadership in there. You can do some things with the little, players that you got. And I still thought they were formidable. I mean, you have the three that they traded, along with the Terrence Ross and I know they're missing Isaacs and everything. But even still, if they would have given it one more go, I think they probably would have, done a little something. But I guess it's obvious now that management is done and they just want to, just start over. It'll be interesting to see.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, what I was going to say, Steph, is with them doing that, it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in the off season, and who they draft and which direction that they're going to go, pretty much. So
right, I don't think they're going to look to bring in anyone in the off season, anyone major. I think they're starting from the bottom, and they're going to focus on the draft, focus on bringing in young players, continue to find ways to bring in draft picks, first round, second round draft picks, and start to rebuild in that manner, right? I mean, you look at them now, with the players that they had, they were already at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, right?
Right.
And so at that point, I think they were just like, we've been meddling around the 8th seed for all of these years. We're not going anyplace. We might as well blow it up. They're 15-29. They got the, 4th worst record in the league or whatever. Now, they're going to be meddling down towards the bottom, maybe close to the worst. They'll have a chance of getting that first pick, and
they're going to tank.
They're going to see if they are
basically right, Nate. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can rebuild from there.
And with that fire yourself, Sim, you might be able to get Ross for a grilled chicken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Was talking. Hey, Sim, that's what we was looking at.
That's what I'm saying.
Sim, that's what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they take pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, man. Evan Fournier because they just wanted to get rid of. They just wanted to move it. Evan Fournier for 2 second-round picks. You might be able to get Ross for a second-round pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they want to get. Because think about it, his contract goes 3 years from now. Or 2 years from now.
Yeah.
His contract is this season for like 13.5, next season for 12.5, and then the following season for 11.5. Right? Yep. Now, do the Knicks want to take on a contract that long? I think that's the question. Do they want to take on a contract that, that's that long? It's not that much money, but still, do they want to take on a contract for that long? If so, you can get it for a second-round pick. I'm pretty sure you can. Pretty sure you can.
Lou Williams went to Atlanta for Rondo.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a good bench piece. Atlanta's doing some right things, man. They got the right coach. They got young players. They got Trae Young. Watch out for Atlanta.
Yeah. Now, listen, they've already been playing well. Although I think a guy like Rondo, maybe help, Lou Williams is a veteran as well. Rondo brings a different mentality to the team, but listen, they've been playing well. I don't know how much Rondo was even playing for them, so I can't even comment there. I don't know. They've won. The Atlanta Hawks have won. Well, they've lost their last 2, but they were on like an 8-game winning streak. So we'll see. Hey, the Clippers got what they've been looking for. They're probably done. Now, let's see the Lakers. Let's see what the Lakers are gonna do.
Yep.
Right. We'll see what the Lakers are gonna do. See if the Lakers are gonna really make that push for Kyle Lowry. It seems like it's the Lakers in Miami.
I don't think they have the assets for him.
Well, there's ways to make it happen, man. Listen, you just see. Evan Fournier, 2 second-round picks just because Toronto was almost in a fire sale too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're almost in a fire sale too.
They also got to take that contract too. And if they try to get rid of those other guys, that's a big part of what their team is outside of LeBron and Davis. So, are you just going to rely on 3 players and not have a bench? I think the Lakers are going to stay put. I think they're just hoping Davis comes back.
They're going to have a bench, right? Because if they do find a way to get Kyle Lowry, they're going to move 3 guys: KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and Dennis Schroeder. That's what they're trying to get rid of those guys to clear up $30 million so that you can bring in Kyle Lowry for that $30 million. Okay, and then if you bring in Kyle Lowry for that $30 million. There's going to be some players that go to Toronto, right? And some of those players could end up going to Toronto, right? In the trade. No, I'm saying some of those players from the Lakers could end up going to Toronto, right? And along with draft picks or whatever else, right? Because those, Montrezl Harrell, I think is a 1-year deal. Dennis Schroeder, he's on a 1-year deal. Well, expiring contract. I'm not sure about KCP. And so you can send some of those guys there along with draft picks or whatever you can send. I don't know when they can trade a draft pick. Maybe they can bring in draft picks from other places so that they can move it for Kyle Lowry. You get a 3rd team involved, like the Knicks, other teams, maybe a 4-team deal or whatever. So you can move around picks. Use teams like the Knicks,
Toronto
use their cap space.
To Lakers.
Right. Toronto would be sending Kyle Lowry to the Lakers.
Right, but they'd have to send probably another 2 players.
Well, they can waive other players.
They're going to have to take on 3 roster spots.
Well, you can waive players. You can waive players. That's not a problem, right? So there's ways to get it done, and the Knicks can help to facilitate that. And I think the Knicks have been looking at ways throughout the however long the last few months to figure out how can we use that $15 million. What's the best way we can help facilitate other moves and trades to use that $15 million. We only got about 20 minutes left till the trade deadline is over with, so we'll see what happens there.
We got an hour. We got it. It's 3:30, right?
I think it's 3 o'clock. I thought it was 3 o'clock. Maybe it's 3:30. Could be 3:30.
I think
it was 3 o'clock.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I don't see us making any more moves. I think we're done.
Here's the thing. If we don't, we can still use that $15 million later,
right.
I guess, trade deadline or something like that. But I will be disappointed if we don't make a move, because if we don't make a move, right now, I do think we're probably in the heat of a battle for Lonzo Ball with Chicago. But if we don't make a move and get Lonzo Ball, he's going to be on his way to Chicago. And now we got a team that just leapfrogged us.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. It is 3 p.m. I thought it was 3:30. It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's only going to be a rental sim. He's not.
Right, he's only going to be a rental. I think. I think we can prime him. Even if he goes to Chicago, I really feel as though that we can prime him away. But I see what you're saying, Sam. That with him on our team now, right? When you mean birds, all right.
Well, they have more than
this whole thing with the birds, right?
But see, they have more than his bird rights.
They can go over the cap to sign the player.
But it's even more than that. They control the contract. All they have to do is extend the qualifying offer. Even if he turns down the qualifying offer, it's not going to mean anything. Everyone will look and say, "Oh, Lonzo turned down the qualifying offer." He only turned it down because he knows he can get more money than the qualifying offer on the market. And once he turns down that qualifying offer, he becomes a restricted free agent. So Chicago can match any offer, which means they can control the contract. That's the importance of getting. If you want Lonzo Ball, that's the importance of getting his contract now, because you control the contract. And if he doesn't want the qualifying offer, and then he goes out, looks for a better offer, you can say, "I'm going to match it." You match it, he's playing for your team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if Chicago trades for Lonzo Ball, if the Knicks want him and they lose him to Chicago, they're not getting him in the offseason. He's going to be in Chicago. Because Chicago traded for him. So you know they're going to match an offer.
Right. All right. So Sam, I keep going back to this. I think we had the bird rights to Jeremy Lin. And we said, you know what, go see what you're worth and we'll match that. So at first he did that and we were going to match it. Then he went back to Houston and we said no. How is this different from what from the Lonzo Ball situation if he did go to Chicago?
So how it's different is that Chicago gave up assets to get Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
They gave up assets. I'm not saying it didn't happen yet. It didn't happen yet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying if it happens, they gave up assets, which probably includes a first-round pick, to get Lonzo Ball.
Right.
They're going to match any offer. Okay? Because they believe that he's part of their future. They're going to match any offer. When the Knicks got Jeremy Lin,
he doesn't want to stay there? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't want to stay there, they'll probably match any offer. If he says, I don't want to be here, which I don't think would happen, right? Chicago.
Right.
I don't think would happen. But if he did say, I don't want to be here, I don't want to re-sign with you, they can still match any offer and then trade him to the team that he wants to go to. Where still the Knicks, if that were the Knicks or any other team, you're going to be giving up more for him at that point. You know what I mean? So,
I just don't think.
And the thing with Jeremy Lin was, I mean to cut you off, Nate. The thing with Jeremy Lin was he came in as a free agent. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I think he came. I don't remember how we got Jeremy Lin, but he was a guy that was at the end of Houston's bench, not doing anything, had been, in the G League and whatever, and then boom. The Knicks got him. Right. He was on the end of the Knicks bench, and then there you go.
I just don't think the Knicks value Lonzo Ball in that aspect, to give up assets. I don't think that they see him as a franchise type of point guard. I feel like fans want him, but I don't feel like the Knicks brass sees the Lonzo Ball in that sense. I mean, they probably saw LaMelo as a better prospect than Lonzo.
Well, here's the thing. If they obviously didn't want LaMelo that bad. If they wanted him that bad, they would have tried to move up to get him. They had their eyes focused on Obi. So, according to Sam Amico, Lonzo Ball left the Pelicans practice midway through. Now, it should be noted that he's been dealing with a hip issue, but it could also mean that he was going to clean out his locker. Who knows? That was 13 minutes ago. And, of course, there are reports. I mean, I guess, listen, Miami Heat, they're working to try to get Victor Oladipo. They're working to try to get Kyle Lowry. They're trying to soup up. Now, you got 17 minutes left. Or 20, I don't know.
Yeah, 17 minutes. You're
17
right.
17 minutes left, right? Victor Oladipo, we haven't heard about him being moved. What's going on with Oladipo? Will he get to the buyout market?
No.
It's amazing.
I mean,
they might try to trade him in the offseason.
In the offseason? His deal was done. You can't trade him in the offseason.
Oh, he's a free agent? Oh, he's a free agent?
He's a free agent. You can't trade him in the offseason.
Oh, okay.
So he could walk.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he, they don't have to buy him out. If you don't trade him and you don't get anything for him, then you might as well buy him out. At least you can shave a couple dollars, and save a couple dollars that way. If you're not gonna trade him, you could at least do that. It's going to be something if he hits the buyout market. It really will. But, I still believe something in the last minute might come through. As far as Kyle Lowry, that's so much of a bigger deal.
And Oladipo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as Kyle Lowry, that's so much of a bigger deal. Man, I don't. It's so much of a bigger deal that has to happen for Kyle Lowry, and there's 15 minutes left. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen in time.
Yeah.
Now, of course, things can be reported, going a half an hour afterwards and stuff like that. That normally happens. Things get reported that way.
Sim, they just got Trent Jr. Why would they trade Kyle Lowry?
Because
Trent Jr.
Yeah,
Trent Jr. makes their team a lot better now. You don't want to lose a Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I get you. I get you have Fred, but Kyle Lowry is a dog, man.
But they're not going to be able to afford him. He's unrestricted. He's making 34. They paid Van Vliet, they paid Anunoby, and they paid Siakam. So they're going to have a hard time even with Trent. They may have to go over the cap to get him.
Yeah.
Well, Lowry is coming off the book, so maybe.
I just think if you're trading
unrestricted.
I just think if you're trading Lowry, you're not going for Trent. I think that they're trying to add to what they already have.
I don't think so. Is Gary Trent that
Lowry
much better than Norman Powell? I would say they're about the same player. He's just younger.
I think it's about the same.
Trent Jr. is a damn good player, man.
Norman Powell's averaging 20 points per game. Norman Powell's averaging 20 points per game this year. He can knock down the three, to play defense. Yeah. Now, I would say that
Trent can put buckets.
But what I'm saying is, to me, that was a move for a younger player, right? If he was all of that, why'd they move him? Why'd they move on from Gary Trent Jr.? Portland? Yeah.
Because they have McCollum. If they didn't have McCollum, Trent Jr. probably be the starter along with Lillard.
It's the same.
No,
but Gary Trent Jr.
Powell is just as good as Trent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Norman Powell was just as good. So they still brought back a very good player. Portland believes that they're upgrading their roster.
Well.
Portland believes that they're upgrading their roster in that move, right?
I disagree with that, but
why else would they make? Why would Portland make that move? Portland is in the midst of a playoff battle, right?
I don't know. Maybe Powell's more versatile than Trent.
Portland is 25-18. They're in the midst of a playoff battle in the Western Conference. Why would they downgrade their roster? Right? They wouldn't downgrade their roster. So they believe that they're getting the better player. I believe that Toronto is in the midst of breaking down like Orlando. Maybe not to the extent that Orlando did, but somewhat. Because I think they understand that this is the end of the road. You got everything going on with Pascal Siakam. I think they get it. This is it. It's done for them. So I think that they are trying to break it down. You know? So that's the and once Kyle Lowry goes, that's their engine. That's their engine. I think they break it down. The Sixers reportedly are still in the Kyle Lowry sweepstakes. All right, but their current offer is their final offer. Another report by Brian Windhorst that he are not interested in including Tyler Hero in the Kyle Lowry trade. So things are still going on. Things are still going on for Kyle Lowry. And listen, we got about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, right? So you know something is about to pop off soon. You would think. You would think something's going to pop off pretty soon. Now, let me ask this.
It's all smoke.
If Kyle Lowry does not get traded, does he get bought out? And does he become the next high-profile player on the buyout market? I mean, this will be the highest-profile buyout season that I've ever seen. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's going to be on the buyout market. Andre Drummond's going to be on the buyout market. I haven't heard anything about Oladipo. Maybe he's on the buyout market. Maybe Kyle Lowry is on the buyout market. And possibly the Knicks are saying, I'm holding chill because we're going to be able to get some serious talent on the buyout market. I don't know. What do you think, Steph? You think the buyout market may be more, have more talent than the trade market?
Yeah, it definitely might if all of those players are on it. I just don't know who from there would fit. I don't think Lowry would come to us. I think he would go to a championship contending team.
Agree.
I've always had concerns about not Drummond as a player, but just his fit with our team. But I would take Oladipo on the buyout market. I mean, you're not losing anything. Get to see if he'll fit, and then work something out in the off season if it's a match for both teams. That he would be the only one. Did you mention someone else? And Ross will probably get traded.
Ross, I would love it if Terrence Ross got bought out. I would love if he got bought out.
He might demand a trade.
I mean, that's the thing with Terrence Ross. If you don't move him this season, you can always wait until next year because he's still under contract.
Sam, what do you think about this? Teams have been calling for Mitch. One person said if Robinson is flipped for Ball, then a Drummond deal via trade or buyout market makes more sense for the Knicks.
Yes, that does.
Would you flip Robinson for Ball and then sign Drummond and through trade or buyout?
Yes, I would.
Market?
I would definitely do that. I would. Oh, that's almost a no-brainer for me. That's almost no-brainer for me. I would do that easy. What about you, Nate? I see you shaking your head. I already know Kevin's probably on a business call. I already know what he's gonna say, but go ahead, Nate.
I feel like that's kind of a lopsided trade for the Knicks because the Knicks could get so much more for Robinson.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean,
Ball?
Yeah.
Then Ball?
I mean, Robinson. A lot of.
Who are you getting? Who would you think for Robinson?
For Robinson, I mean, I'm thinking draft picks, man. I mean, like, there's teams out there that covet that. Yeah,
I mean, Robinson would be better than Ball. Like flipping him for a draft pick is better than flipping him for a player.
I just don't. I'm not a big fan, Lonzo Ball fan. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like him in the draft. I still don't like him. I mean, I get what he does. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much more better he makes us. I mean,
Peyton.
I mean, they're scoring about the same average, aren't they? Or Peyton scoring more or what? I think Ball has more assists.
It's the dynamic.
Yeah, and it's what he does.
Even if they're scoring the same, it's the dynamic.
Yeah, right? and it's what he does. He's much better in transition.
But if you trade for
Hold up, Nate. He's much better in transition. He sees the floor better than Elfrid Payton. He's also still a good defender. He can knock down the three. That adds a whole different dynamic to how you play and what you do. You know what I'm saying? I would do it easy.
No, I get. But not for me.
Because this is the thing with Andy. This is the thing with Robinson. I believe when his contract is up, he's gonna want to get paid. We've been paying him on the cheap these few years, and he's gonna want it to be made up when it's his time to sign him, whether he's there in terms of his game or not. And the Knicks are going to have to be prepared to pay him maybe even more than his market value to probably. I think his camp is going to ask for a lot. Put it that way.
So
now, I don't think we're going to resign Mitch.
Right now, I'm just watching Adrian Wojnarowski because we got 6 minutes to go. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a flurry of stuff that comes in right at the last minute, even if it's smaller deals. Toronto is trading guard Terrence Davis to Sacramento for a future second-round pick. Andy, what's going on, man?
Well, happy to finally make it, to the stream. I'm a little bit late, but maybe still not late for the most important announcement. So I'm crossing my fingers.
We got 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, but
yeah,
like we were just talking about.
We know that some of the news is gonna come up probably like at least 10 minutes after, because they're gonna get the news after it's sent it to the NBA offices. So it's like more than 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes of stress, and then we can get shocked by the announcement only. So
right, we ain't doing anything.
You can prolong it, Sim.
Right. What do you think? Do you think, Andy, you think the Knicks are doing anything else?
Well, I'm not going to lie. If we don't make a move for Lonzo, I don't think we're going to move any other kind of move, because it's basically that target for the Knicks to try to manage to get. We got Vincent Poirier, the French guy from the 76ers in that three-way deal. I think he can get rotation minutes, and if it's even causing Obi to sit a couple of minutes, I wouldn't be shocked. He didn't have a great NBA career, but he can play ball. I'm going to tell you this because I saw him when he was playing in Europe. He can crack a rotation if he gets the opportunity. So I believe that he's not going to be my favorite player of the team, but I think he really can crack the Knicks rotation. So
yeah,
let's hope we get any kind of production from him.
Yeah. And I just I'm looking. I got a whole screen set up of just Woj, Shams. I got Mark Stein up there, and I got Ian Begley. So I'm gonna get that screen up, just so we can I can flash over every now and again, and we can see what's going on. I don't even know if everyone's gonna be able to read it. If you go full screen, once I get it up there, you should be able to read it. But
Tim, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you're if you're the Knicks organization right now,
mm-hmm.
and let's say you don't get Ball this trade deadline, so Ball is going to probably be available hopefully in the offseason. Are you more willing to commit? Huh?
Wow.
If he gets traded to Chicago, he's not going to be available. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, if he stays with the Pelicans, let's just say that.
Yes, and we just got news from Woj that Lonzo Ball is not going to be traded.
He's not.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's going to stay with the Pelicans.
Okay. Yeah, he's staying in the New Orleans.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. He's not going to be moved.
So Ball be available in the offseason. So here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Knicks franchise, do you throw more money at Lonzo Ball or do you throw more money at Mitch?
How much more money you talk about at Mitch?
I mean, just kind of looking at what Mitch is going to demand, when his contract's up. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to pay Ball? Like what, 18 million or something?
Probably 18 million. Mitch is not worth 18 million, in my opinion.
So you're going to throw the money at Ball. So you're going to throw money at you. So basically, you're going to throw the money at Ball.
I would throw money at Ball before I threw it at Mitch. Let me say it that way. We got 1 minute to the trade deadline. Listen, it looks like Kyle Lowry is not going to be traded either. If you only got 1 minute, unless something comes in after the fact, something might come in.
Maybe they felt Trent Jr. was a better fit than Powell was.
I mean, but the Raptors aren't really going to be doing much this year anyway. They're 18-26 on the season. They're going to lose Kyle Lowry in the offseason most likely. If he doesn't, he's not going to sign back. He'll probably sign with Philadelphia or someplace like that, So, I mean, where are they going? Pascal Siakam, they're having all kinds of problems with Pascal Siakam. Where are they going? I think, if they don't, obviously they didn't break it down here at the trade deadline. But, when you look going forward next year, they'll probably break it down next year. So, listen, obviously.
Well, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, I think the Raptors didn't make major moves because, if I'm correct, Masai Ujiri contract is running out this summer, right? So I'm guessing he didn't want to put the Raptors organization in a situation that they would be maybe strangled or whatever you want to call it. So probably the next GM can have a carte blanche and start building his way with at least a couple of assets.
Mm-hmm.
And let him do the job, because I don't think Masai Ujiri is going to stay in Toronto. It was mentioned that even the Knicks might look at him before we got Leon Rose.
Right.
But, I'm not certain that, Ujiri is going to stay there. I would rather think that maybe the Nets could go after him. They got Sean Marks, but, Ujiri is an upgrade over basically like 25 of the general managers currently in the NBA. So I'm guessing if someone has money to throw away on a great GM, I think they might look to land him.
Okay. All right.
To Dallas.
Who's headed to Dallas?
Orlando.
JJ Redick.
Yeah. Oh, JJ Redick. Oh, JJ Redick is headed to Dallas.
That's what Shams is reporting.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Cavs unsuccessfully found, looking for a trading partner for Andre Drummond will work a buyout. So,
right. I think we knew that.
That's crazy.
I think we knew that Andre Drummond was going to be bought out, and Dallas has acquired New Orleans JJ Redick, and I thought JJ Redick wanted to go to Brooklyn or go to. Or be in New York or be on the East Coast, but clearly the Pelicans were like, hey, if we can get something for you, we'll get something for you, and that was just reported by Shams. So,
wow,
yeah, I don't, for the most part, the trade deadline is over. We'll see if anything else comes in. We'll stay on for a little while to see if anything else comes in, but. The Knicks, for the most part, just stay where we are and are going to maybe look at that buyout market. We don't hear anything about Victor Oladipo. Right? So he could be hitting the buyout market. Maybe it's even possible that Kyle Lowry hits the buyout market.
But we already said Depot's going to the Heat if he gets bought out. That's like a match made in heaven. They want him so bad.
He probably is. He probably is going to the Heat. So But now when you look at the buyout market, we don't know who's going to be in the buyout market, and Kyle Lowry, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to be like, just buy me out so I can go here or go there. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he'll probably just stick it out. It's possible, but he'll probably just stick it out in Toronto for the remainder of the season, and then hit the free agent market. In free agency, I would like the Knicks to pick up Kyle Lowry in free agency for the final few years of his career. I really would. I think that he would take this team to another level. He's a point guard, kind of the way you see what Chris Paul has done to Phoenix. I see that Kyle Lowry could do that to the Knicks. I think he could. I think that he could upgrade, help the Knicks upgrade in that manner. I would love to see Kyle Lowry come to the Knicks.
What would you do with Peyton?
Well, Peyton. Peyton's a stopgap guard. Peyton's not here for the long term. Mm-hmm. Peyton's a stopgap. So, you would have Kyle Lowry, then you would have possibly Derrick Rose. Right? And then you still have a young guard in Emmanuel Quickly, and maybe you get another young point guard or something that you want to help, build up. You know what I'm saying? So
was Peyton's deal only a 1 year deal? It was only a 1 year deal?
Yeah, 1 year deal. Yeah, 1 year deal.
I thought it was a 2 year deal. That's why I was like, okay, cool.
Yep. So no trades for the New York Knicks. Nothing major. Let's say that. Nothing major for the New York Knicks. The big trades that happened today. Evan Fournier, he got traded to the Boston Celtics. Orlando basically just broke everything down. He's on his way to the Boston Celtics. He got traded for 2 second-round picks. Nikola Vucevic, he landed with the Chicago Bulls for Al-Farouq Aminu and Otto Porter. Nikola Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu are headed to the Bulls for Otto Porter and Wendell Carter Jr. And 2 first-round draft picks. Of course, that's a big addition for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are also sending the Magic a 2021 and a 2023 first-round pick. You got Aaron Gordon. He's on his way to the Denver Nuggets. You got Gary Harris and R.J. Hampton. They're on their way to the Orlando Magic. So Denver, they pulled off an upgrade. Then you gotta, those are some of the bigger trades to happen today. All right, you got some other smaller trades that went down. Corey Joseph, Dalen Wright and Corey Joseph got swapped. All right, the Pistons, they send Dalen Wright to Sacramento for guard Corey Joseph and 2 second-round picks. You got the Denver Nuggets. They acquired center JaVale McGee. All right, so they kind of souped themselves up. Other things that went down, and this is not everything, just a few things, and then there's some more things that's been mentioned. You got Miami. They sent Mo Harkless and Chris Silver to the Kings for Belgica. You got Toronto. They traded Norman Powell for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. Washington, they traded Troy Brown and Moe Wagner to Chicago. So Chicago added to their bench. And then, there's a bunch more stuff that went down as you well know. Terrence Davis, he's going to Sacramento. Toronto sent Terrence Davis to Sacramento for a second round pick. Rajon Rondo, he's going to the Clippers. Lou Williams is going to the Atlanta Hawks. Toronto traded guard Matt Thomas to the Utah Jazz for a future second-round pick. And of course, Dallas has acquired J.J. Redick from the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll see what else. I'm sure there's going to be the Hornets are acquiring Brad Wanamaker as well. sure there's going to be a lot more Brad Wanamaker. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that comes down the pike within the next couple minutes, things that come out. But I don't know. What do you take? How you feeling, Steph? You feel, you happy, disappointed, or we'll see what happens in the buyout market?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I mean, even if we didn't make anything big, I would have liked to have done something to improve the team. Because remember, if teams around you get better, you're getting worse in terms of playoff standings. That being said, I trust the organizations. I'm pretty sure that they were in on what they could be in on, and probably what they were asking for, the other teams were asking for, they just weren't willing to give at this point. Because the other thing you have to keep in mind is when you give up your assets, basically you're shutting yourself out of better trades that can come down the pike. Now, you can't become Danny Ainge, right, and just not, do it for years and years and years. But I'm hoping that they're holding their assets for something bigger. I'm hoping. Let's see. Oladipo to Miami, they saying.
There you go. Houston is trading Victor Oladipo to Miami.
Dang.
Okay, so that's
Miami.
I want to know what's going back to Houston, but Oladipo got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. Miami got what they wanted. Victor Oladipo's on his way to Miami.
Dang, that's a good team.
All these teams around us upgraded, man, and we kind of stood still on it.
I think also too, Sam,
we're in a nice place without even a game being played.
I think also this organization was a little gun shy. I think that they just, they really are banking on the off season to really, add stuff to this roster, especially with the draft and all that, having the assets, 2 draft picks and all that. I mean, they can definitely make some moves there, or they can even make a trade if they wanted to. So, I mean, I think they're just gearing up to the offseason. I mean, I know Knicks fans want to see an upgrade now, but I just think they're waiting to the offseason.
What it's about, Miami is 22-22. They beat us twice. 2 tough games, but they beat us twice, right? Chicago Bulls, they're 19-24. They upgraded their roster. Okay, they're going to start winning more games. All right, Miami, we're tied with Miami. They're gonna probably start. They got better. We didn't. The Atlanta Hawks, maybe they got better by bringing in Lou Williams. I don't know. Maybe they got better. The Boston Celtics, they got better. All these teams that are around us got better. Miami, Atlanta, Boston, Chicago. All these teams got better.
Yep.
I mean, I guess we still got the buyout market, but...
As crazy as it sounds, I think that this organization looks at the schedule that the Knicks have coming up, and reality might set in that they probably will not win a lot of those games. And they're probably thinking that, if we're lucky, we'll get into the play-in game. Because I think if they really were serious, if they saw this team as like, if this team can make the playoffs, I think they would have been buyers. But I think that because they really didn't make any moves, I mean, the Fergusson move doesn't even make sense to me. I mean, I guess you just get rid of Rivers. I mean, because he was a malcontent or whatever it is. But it makes me think that this organization right now thinks that, with the schedule coming up, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. It's going to be very hard, like you said, and all these teams got better. So I'm thinking they're just thinking the offseason to like really retool this roster, and then next year go for it. Let's get into the playoffs next year. That's just my perception.
I mean, I think we are going to do that.
Yeah,
I think we are going to do that, but I don't think they looked at the roster and said, "Oh, I think we should do it because we're not going anywhere this year."
Right, and I don't think they're done trying to. I don't think they're done trying to make the playoffs. They're still going to try to make the playoffs. You know, and I don't think
they're going to do with what we have.
These moves don't make those teams unbeatable. It just upgrades their roster.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just upgrades their roster. It don't make them unbeatable, but you know, you made it tougher on yourself. You know, one little move, and I get it. You know, some teams, you know, their asking price might be a lot. You don't want to give up that. So I guess we'll see what happens in the buyout market, because maybe now there's going to be some players that get bought out, and maybe they understand, you know what? The deal wasn't there for what we wanted, but there's going to be some guys in the buyout market. We'll see. Andy, what do you think?
Well, I strongly disagree with Nate. I don't think the organization is even thinking that, okay, it's a downhill from now on, and we're not going to try to, improve and stuff. I'm rather thinking that they must feel this confident in this current roster that they are saying, listen, we don't need to sell out to get a major name, because we can probably do it in the buyout market. And if not, then we just, have faith in these players we have, that we can manage to slide to be in the playoffs, and then go, in the off season after some improvements. But imagine for example, the Spurs, they buy out DeMar DeRozan, and the Cavs buy out Andre Drummond, right? And they sign for pennies with us. Right. That's a huge, huge upgrade of the roster.
Right.
Meanwhile, we don't lose like anyone, basically, just cut two guys, right? So if it's about cutting two guys, probably Vincent Poirier is going to get cut because he just got traded to us. And, you got to think whatever we can get, that one roster spot, right? Because we traded Iggy, but we got Poirier back. So we still are at 15, right? If I'm correct. So, as far as I see it, I think they rather look into the buyout market and don't spend any of their assets, because probably they were thinking that the prices were too high, and in this thing. And going back to Lonzo, I think the thing is going to be a sign and trade. We didn't make a move now, so we got to make a move in the off season, and still can be a sign and trade, right? So they just got to agree with the Pelicans and send some things to the Pelicans. Probably is going to be picks, but I think it's the only way they might be thinking. I bet they never crossed their mind, okay, we have a tough schedule going ahead, and so we're not going to make the playoffs. That didn't come mind. And any player on the 15 squad roster, and any guy in the front office, if they would be thinking that, if I was Leon Rose and I heard even a whisper like that, I would just fire the guy. Just show him the door, bro. If you're bringing that kind of mindset to the general manager's room, you're out of here. So,
Andy, do you think it's going to cost more though for Lonzo Ball in the offseason?
It might, but they might have been asking for example, for 2 first-round picks, because they had several teams bidding for him. Mm-hmm. So they went too high, and Rose might have thought that, okay, the price is too high, I'm not going to negotiate with these guys anymore. And then they struck out. The Pelicans struck out because they were thinking, okay, maybe we can, it's pure negotiations. Sometimes there's nothing that can happen because nobody wants to budge. The next round 2 is in the free agency, if he's, not interested in staying there. So,
right. According to Ian Begley, the Knicks are officially done for the day. They don't have any active deals, so they're done.
If that's true, Sim, Frank Ntilikina survived his first trade deadline.
He survives everything, man.
That's the biggest news.
Everything.
Hey, what's going on, Sim?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? What's up, Nate, Andy, stuff?
What's up, man?
Listen, Kev, I wasn't gonna call him. I was just with the chat and everything. But you know what, Sim? We gotta relax. We gotta relax.
Hold up. No. Don't tell me that, because you were the first person in the chat like, we didn't get Evan Fournier for 2 second-round picks, so I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
Hold on. Listen, let me finish. We finish. Listen, yes, I was okay. Yeah, I was upset about that because when you see what he what he went for, that's why I was like, okay.
But do you understand that the Knicks couldn't do that same deal?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was more mad that the Knicks could have did that deal.
They could not have done that same deal.
Why not?
Because Evan Fournier makes $17 million. The Knicks had $15 million available, right? They would have had to send out another player so that they can take on that $17 million, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks still did that.
But Orlando probably didn't want to take back another player. They're breaking down. So the Boston Celtics had $28.5 million where they could take that $17 million into that trade exception, right? A $28.5 million trade exception. They didn't have to send any players to Orlando. They can take that $17 million, send them 2 second-round draft picks, and that's it. The Knicks had already had discussions with Orlando about Evan Fournier.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing, though. This is what I say we got to relax because, look, I get Chicago.
He was upset that they didn't get Evan Fournier, but we got to relax.
Because I didn't know that detail. See, I didn't know that detail, so don't try to kill me since I didn't know. I thought it was
But you were the first person that was upset about anything.
But Sim, I was only upset because we could have rented them out for 2 second-round picks. Of course, we need scoring. That's why I was upset. I didn't want to keep Evan. I mean, I would have kept Evan Fournier, but hey, that happened. But I'm saying relax because look, at the end of the day, the Knicks are still in contention. The Knicks are still in contention to make the playoffs. We're the 6th seed right now. We're playing good basketball. The Bulls are like almost 6 games below 500. And they got to worry about team crunch and they got to worry about defense. The Celtics have been a debacle all season long. You know what I'm saying? So I get that people are upset that the Knicks didn't do anything, which, I mean, look, this is the first year in office, first half of season in office, and people are mad they didn't make big moves. I mean, I'm really not. I mean, if this is the old Knicks, people would have been mad if we would have traded, blah, blah, blah for Russell Westbrook. People would have been upset. People would have been like, that's a stupid trade. But listen, I feel like the Knicks are going
to... Panel, it's getting very thick in here because I can have Texas where this person
we already went over that, Kev. Here's my thing, though. Listen, no. I know what you're saying. I get it. You're taking a long time to get there, though. We know what you're saying. We get it, right? They can make some moves later on. They can make moves in the buyout market. They sat pat. They got a strong defense. They're right in the mix of things. We get all of that. My issue is Chicago continues to get better, right? Now they got they didn't do anything for Lloyd Marketing. They still got Lloyd Marketing. They just took Moe Wagner. They flipped it over to the Celtics so that they can improve their center position, and they're bringing Daniel Tice back to Chicago. All right, Chicago, they got a lot stronger in my opinion. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be decent. They're going to get better. I don't know what they're doing, around with the point guard thing, but I think these teams have gotten better. Boston got better. Chicago got better. Miami got better. They're all teams that are hovering around the same record as us. Boston is 21-23. Miami's 22-22. Chicago is 19-24. They're going to try to take a leap, right? We're 22-22, right in there in the mix between Miami and Boston. Atlanta, they just brought in Lou Williams for Rajon Rondo. We'll see if that makes them better. You know what I'm saying? We gotta hope that our chemistry is our pickup if we don't pick up anything in the buyout market.
Well, Sam, I think from the tone that you just got, I feel like you're downplaying chemistry a little bit. From the tone that you said, I feel like you're downplaying it because I get that the Bulls got Vucevic. And they got Zach LaVine and the Celtics got. But there's also, like you said, you got to add the chemistry. You got to add the defense. Like the Bulls did not get better defensively. And I think they actually got worse because Wendell Carter was one of their best defenders.
Yeah.
So they got worse in that case. You can pick and roll those guys. I just think right now it's pretty much almost kind of still even, in my opinion. I get what you mean.
I don't think it's even. I think Chicago got better. I mean, Vucevic is an all-star center. They just put another all-star next to Zach LaVine. I think they got better. Fournier is not.
I don't think they're better than us. I don't think they're better than us.
We don't know. But they got better. It don't matter. They got better. We got
defense with Tice.
Yeah, with Tice. They got defense with Tice. We may not even play Chicago again. So it don't matter if they're better against us. It matters, are they better against other players, other teams that we're going against. And my thing is that we didn't have to. I did say that I would be okay if they stood still. But when I watch every single team around us get better, I'm like, you know what? Chemistry and defense. Hold up. Let me finish. Hey, chill out. Chemistry and defense, you know what I'm saying? It's only going to take you so far. You got to add talent to your team. Now, hopefully they can continue to get better, right? That's another factor that, we have to account for, that they can still get better. And there's always the buyout market where they could probably, hopefully, or I don't want to say hopefully, maybe they can add a piece or two of players get bought out. You know what I'm saying? They might be able to add a piece or two. But to me, players or teams around us got better and, added depth. We added depth all the way down at number 15.
It would be great if Orlando could buy out Terrence Ross.
I'm holding out hope for that, Kev. And that's the one thing that I have trust with this organization, is that they do have some inside roots with in their ear to the ground, knowing what's happening around the league, right? And so they're like, you know what? We can get a better deal just by picking up a player in the buyout market. You know what I mean? They got two players at the end of the bench now that, maybe they're like, we can waive those guys. We're okay. You know what I'm saying? If they need to, to bring in another player. So,
hey, Sin, can I say this? I get people are mad, but listen, if we have a good offseason, I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear none of this complaining about the front office if we have a good offseason.
No one's complaining. But see that this is where no one's complaining about the front office. It's just because you're upset they didn't make a move doesn't mean, I don't like the front office now. We're not complaining about the front office.
Yeah, you're right, I'd say it. There are people that are, and some well-known people that are complaining.
Listen, there are people. There's always going to be people. You're talking to this panel right here. This panel right here is not complaining about the front office.
Okay,
right.
I understand.
Right.
I understand.
It's not just us, though. We're part of the panel, but we have a whole community of people complaining about it. And I'm just like, no, it's okay. Because if we have a good offseason, nobody's going to complain. And that's all I'm saying.
And I think people wanted to see a move so that it could push us a little more in this playoff run that we're going to, that we might have this year.
I just don't agree with people saying like, well, the Knicks didn't make moves, so now we're tanking. To me, that's a dumb take, because we're not tanking. Clearly, you watch this team, you see how this team plays. You see every time these guys have a interview, there's no talks of tanking, there's no talks of losing, no talks of none of that. So again, right, we've been competing all year. Don't let the trade deadline change your opinion on this team about them not competing, because that's far from the truth.
It's not about changing the opinion on the team. Everybody knows that they're going to come out and play defense, and they still have a ways to grow, to build. It's not about changing the opinion on the team. It's about knowing that other teams around you got a little bit better, and it doesn't mean that you had to make a crazy move. And obviously, there's still the buyout market that's going to be going on within the next week or so, and we'll see what happens then. It's not just about listen, we talked about it the other day. There were some clear needs that could have been addressed on this team for cheap. and I'm not talking about Evan Fournier, but for some clear needs that could have been addressed. There's a lot of movement in the trade market, and some players that you look at and say, hey, they could have helped here, they could have helped there. It didn't happen. We get it. We'll see what's going to happen within the next. We will see what happens in the next couple of days. I do hope that Terrence Ross gets bought out. We'll see if the Knicks are going to be interested in Andre Drummond or LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm not a fan of LaMarcus Aldridge, but they might.
Neither am I.
Especially knowing that if LaMarcus Aldridge is good with coming off the bench, right? If he's good with coming off the bench as a backup power forward, would you take a chance? I think he's going to end up in Miami. So I think he ends up. I think he ends up in Miami, right? But would you take a chance, Steph? Would you take a chance on LaMarcus Aldridge as a backup power forward? Because that's a position that we need.
Is he a restricted free agent is he unrestricted at the end of this year?
Well, if they buy him out, it looks like
that's true.
They're going to buy him out, then yeah, he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
I would. Listen, we're not talking about signing him next year. We're talking about for the rest of this year. We got to get somebody that can give Randall 15 minutes a game, get his minutes down to 32, 33. Now, will Tibbs take advantage of that? I don't know. But I would like to at least have somebody who can give him those minutes. So if he's willing to come off the bench for those many minutes and play behind Randall, I have no problem with it. But signing him long-term into next year, him starting, getting major minutes, no.
Right. Yeah, that's not something that I'd want to do either. But if he could come in and give you a good 15 to 20 minutes off the bench behind Randall, that would be huge. He can shoot it from three. He can post up. He can rebound the basketball. I think that would be really big. If you could do that.
Hey, Sam, I got a question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate for a sec. What makes you think that these players would want to come play for the Knicks when they could probably go to contender? They could go to somewhere. I'm just curious.
No, that's a good question. That's a good question. Remember, the Knicks still got $15 million that they can use in that buyout market, right? So they can say to LaMarcus Aldridge, "Hey, we'll give you $15 million for the remainder of this season." Not that they would do that, but they can. They can say that to Andre Drummond if they wanted Andre Drummond or any other player that gets bought out that they really want to go get. They can say, we got $15 million to give you. You know what I mean? To entice some players, because now you know that these guys are going to be bought out. Brooklyn Belly said Taj can back up Randall. He can, but you know what? We haven't seen that Tom Thibodeau is going to use Taj Gibson as a backup power forward. He's only using him as a backup center right now. You know what I mean? So, I think we need some help at that backup power forward position. That might be right now that, people are going to mention the wing and guard spot, but that backup power forward position might be our most important need right now so that we can give Randall a break. Go ahead, Andy.
Two things, Sim. Responding to Nate's thing, it's not only about the money in this season, but we got also salary cap, for the next season, so we can throw them multiple year deals. Meanwhile, the championship teams got only spare pennies just for this season, and then they're again in the market, so they have to look for a team. Meanwhile, we can just give them a 2-3 year deal, because we have the money now, and that might be okay. I'm like 36, 35. I might take the 3-year deal and just hang it up after that, right? And, Sim, just to point out another name, because J.J. Redick and Nikola Melli from the Pelicans were traded to the Mavericks for James Johnson and a player and some picks, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking if the Pelicans are going to keep James Johnson around their team, because that might be a buyout candidate also. And he's one of those guys that I would love to have with a young, team like us, because he can be the enforcer type that can teach these kids the hard game, and he can also spare Randall a couple of minutes on the court. He can stretch the court. He's a hard-nosed, strong guy. So I would consider him if he gets into the buyout market for cheap.
Yeah, and listen, the Knicks are going to be players in that buyout market, because I don't think they care about having to give players money at the end of the season. But, I think they figure like, hey, that money can be better used.
Right.
Getting some more pieces to our team. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be honest with you, Sam. I think the happiest person would be Theo Pinton. I think he wants that. I think he wants that 15 million split. But so on the serious note, though, so
hey, no, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's serious business. When you got a guy that's making, someone like Mitchell Robinson who's making 1.5 million, or someone like Theo Pinson making $2 million or something, you get an extra $1 million. I don't know if that's the way the split would go. I don't know if they have to do percentages based on what you make, but still,
I would assume they probably get around $1 million, maybe 900,000. I mean, that's still 900,000 for free.
Isaiah, when we're going to be in the buyout market, we need to make a roster spot. So, Tinson might be, putting up his hand, just buy me out for $1 million. I'm going to go home and take that $1 million with me. So you never know about him.
But I was going to say one thing. First of all, we got almost 700 people in here, and we got less than 200 likes. Can we at least get to 400 in the next few minutes? I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
People. You can get 400 likes and a half. Come on, 400 likes. And also, too, I mean, again, say a question about LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm down for LaMarcus. Just again, right? He's not the perfect fit. I still don't think he plays defense, but for what he does offensively, and he can give us 15 minutes. And he can give you easily 15 points, 12 to 15 points, and he can still cook some of the best bigs in the league. I mean, he used to cook the White House. He could cook some of these dudes. And if you can just give Randall 15 minutes, just 15, it would just help him out so much, so that he can just get a breather, man. And again, for LaMarcus, just do that, and then give him maybe 10 million, something like that. I'm doing it, man. But again, get those likes up.
Yeah, and Shams just announced that LaMarcus Aldridge, excuse me, is finalizing a contract buyout with the San Antonio Spurs. Go ahead, Andy. So he's the first one that's going to be on the market.
Yeah, about the LaMarcus Aldridge buyout thing and him signing with the Knicks. Well, to be true, I'm not the biggest fan of LaMarcus Aldridge at this point, but he would fit the game style that we play pretty much really good, because we don't play fastball. We go, slowly about the, he can play in actually basically just like Julius Randle. He's a little bit less strong probably at this point of his career, but he has the, offensive tools. And I think if it's only like for the spare 10, 12 minutes, he's going to be way better than Obi.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think
you can actually play him in the playoffs too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and he's been exactly. So the experience, everything is going to be really, really good with him. But I'm not that kind of guy that would sign him for 3-4 years, even just to ride it out with him and stuff. Because I don't think he's going to be that great of a mentor for these guys or whatever. But I think in this kind of, basketball style that Tibbs prefers, I think he's going to, mesh in really fast. And I think he's going to fill the gaps that we need to get filled.
Yeah.
Are you interested in this? Jeff Teague was in that trade, and he's going to be waived.
Oh, what trade was he in?
He was in the Boston Orlando trade, if what I'm seeing here on Twitter is correct.
Didn't Jeff Teague?
And then he's going to be waived by Orlando.
Auntie, didn't Jeff Teague play under Tibbs as well in Minnesota?
Yeah, I don't know how that went though. Yeah,
I'm fine on Jeff Teague. I'm fine. I'm good.
Well, if we didn't have Derrick Rose, I would be all in for it. But when we have D Rose, the glut in the guard spot, it's pretty much, settled.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm in agreement with Andy.
Unfortunately,
because I love to disagree with Andy and Isaiah, but yeah, you give the ball to LaMarcus in the post, that's automatically 2 points for you right there. So I would support that, doing that. I don't know what he's like defensively. I really don't. But
he doesn't play defense.
He doesn't play defense. Okay. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
Yeah, he doesn't play defense, but he's still better than Obi.
He's better defensively than Obi.
Oh, it's going to be an upgrade, and it wouldn't hurt Obi if he would be, playing till the end of the season with these guys in practice, because it's a really great experience for a rookie to have these kind of great power forwards on the roster and look him up in practice.
Right.
And they got, the offensive drills, settled, so he could learn really, really many things from these guys. So I'm not, that kind of opposed to it, because it's going to be cheap money for him, I bet. And, the question is, if he has any contacts with CAA or whatever, because we know that's going to play a huge role.
Yes. Yeah.
And Sim, I can't believe I'm going to actually say this. I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth. But I might have to say Peyton might be better than Jeff Teague. He might be. At this stage right now, he might be better. It hurts me to say this, but he really might be better than Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague really hasn't been good since he's left Atlanta, man. And it just wouldn't be an upgrade, honestly. I think it'd be a downgrade on. Oh my God, I'm saying this. It might be a downgrade from Peyton. So yeah, let's leave Jeff. And now we get LA, man. I think that changes a lot of things. If we go into that playoffs, look, Sim happy as hell I said that. If we get into that, if we get into the playoffs, man, and we have LaMarcus Aldridge in that second unit, I'm telling you, I think we can. I'm not gonna say we can do something. He can work those bigs, man. And I wouldn't be mad. Let's say we face the Sixers, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen LA cook Dwight Howard in his prime. I've seen it.
But
Mitch wasn't even playing, right?
Right.
Mitch wasn't even in the league.
No, what did you say?
Keep in mind.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Let's keep in mind, we don't know what Derrick Rose is going to be coming off of COVID. So we're thinking that he's going to be back the way he was before he left, and hopefully he will. But some people who are symptomatic continue to have respiratory symptoms.
Respiratory systems, yeah.
Let's hope that's not the case.
Mommy, you're right.
Well, I'm very happy because
Frank's still on the roster.
He's still here, haters.
Of course.
There's a reason why he's still on this roster.
He survived four
trade deadline.
Yes, he survived
4-0, baby, 4-0.
He survived it all.
Nah, Sid, I'm not gonna lie, sir. Can I tell you something funny? You want to know I knew how he wasn't getting traded? Because he was hosting the junior Knicks event.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right.
I know you my boy dirty like that.
Right.
I knew he wasn't going nowhere.
They didn't want to break some kid's heart, right?
Yeah. Look, I see who is that? Brandon Howard in the chat. He says, Sim, when I saw Terrence, I was like, yeah, boy. Then I saw Fergusson and I was like, who? I was the same way. I was like, oh, Terrence Ross? Did we predict it? But it didn't come to be.
Hey, Sam,
who knows?
what?
He could still get bought out.
So.
We'll see what happens. He could still get bought out.
Can some of these people? I'm gonna say it. You can't say it because you got to be the nice one. Some of y'all people stop being stingy, man. We almost at 800 people. And we not even at 300 likes. Come on, man. Don't do my mans like that.
Hit those likes. Come on, people.
Come on, man. Stop doing my mans like that.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. They can respond to it in the chat.
I'm gonna fight somebody. I'm fighting with.
So, Brandon, you think this was we failed? It's 342. We failed.
Did we fail?
The trade deadline. What we got? What happened?
We didn't make a move.
Kev was gonna headbutt everybody if Frank left. So
no,
we still got Frank.
Hey, I would have been happy for Frank if he would have traded him somewhere else. I mean,
Kevin Knox still here, right? Kevin Knox still here. You and the Kev.
Hoodie Kev.
Okay.
He would have lost his. He would have lost himself. If, Kevin Knox got traded and everything. So, but Kevin Knox brought it on himself. The whole that spot that he was supposed to hold. If he would have done what he was supposed to do, we wouldn't have been having this conversation. Because he'd have been in the rotation and everything. So that's on Knox.
So Andre Drummond's gonna be bought out. You think we're gonna capitalize on getting him?
No. He's going to the Lakers.
I'm not sure about that.
They don't have. I mean, they need a center. Marc Gasol is not cutting it.
They don't got no money.
Tickets for Davis.
Well, but Nate, I'm looking at is that they might think that Drummond might be a good piece for us to run with longer than this season. When you think about it, they would have Mitch, second guessing them and second guessing his basically abilities and contract situation, because Knicks wouldn't be forced to give him major money because he would be, like threatening them to that he's going to leave, because they would have already a backup, backup as a other center, right? I mean, right. So I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking if Drummond's getting bought out, I think the Knicks are going to be really high on the list.
Oh, I mean, they're a possibility, but I mean, the Lakers have a chance to win a chip this year, and if you get Drummond with a healthy Davis and even Marc Gasol, I mean, you saw what they did with all those bigs last year in the finals.
Yeah, but no, it's.
But one thing.
Sorry, go ahead, mommy.
No, Andy was talking.
Oh, no, Andy, we still got our 15. We still got our 15, right? And we made a move to have a little bit of extra cash. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We got the most cash to play around now. So, I think we're going to be the guys that going to make the moves, because we can basically overbid anyone if it's only about the money.
That's the thing right there.
About the money. That's the thing.
Everybody is not looking for a chip. Some people, especially if you're young, some people are looking for some financial stability as well.
Right.
So not everybody. He's 27. There's still more money to be made.
And I think he wants. And not to mention.
I'm saying he might, but everybody doesn't come into that mindset where they're going to just go to championship contenders. There are some people that may be looking for other things.
And also, and like Steph said, right, here's the thing. Like she said, these kids are 26, 25. I mean, if you got a chance to make $15 million for half a season, I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're 26 and you're like, okay, I could just go to a contender next year and still make the playoffs. I mean, why not? People got to also too, like, yes, these NBA players make money, but listen, some of these players spend money. And we could, that's a whole episode in itself about how a lot of these players aren't as rich as you think. But listen, man, the money talks.
According to Mark Stein, if the Spurs and Aldridge proceed to buyout talks, which we know they are, Miami is viewed by numerous rival teams as the favorite to sign him.
Yes,
that's a crazy haul at the trade deadline to get Victor Oladipo, and then you get a backup power. Or I don't know if they're going to back him up or start him, but you get a power forward / center in LaMarcus Aldridge. That's a haul. That's a haul.
Yeah. Remember, Olynyk is gone. They traded Olynyk in that Oladipo trade.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And who else did they trade? Olynyk,
Avery Bradley, and I think there was a draft swap. Maybe another player, but
so Hero's still there then, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They didn't give up any. That's what the Magic should have did. Waited all the way to the deadline to squeeze as much as you can out of it. And that's what Miami did. They didn't give up Robinson.
Ooh.
But they did give up Olynyk. But I think that's because they knew they were going to be able to fill that spot, in my opinion, with somebody on the buyout.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get your phone call. Caller, you live. What's poppin'?
Tim.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Well, I had to leave the cocoon to get some exercise before I blow up and do something bad with my television.
Is this AD?
Because
Is this AD?
Yeah. I know you're hot. I know you are hot, man. I know you're hot.
Yeah,
Because I know what you wanted. I know you're hot. Go ahead. I'm going to let you talk, though.
I'm so hot, I got my hoodie on. That's how hot I am. See, here's my thing. And it's not that I wanted them to do anything, right?
Uh-huh.
But I just don't have this mentality. Let's wait 4 months down the line, 5 months down the line. I can't with that anymore. I'm over with that. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at Miami make a move. That's what Riley would do. And I'm looking at and maybe something in the long run. But I want to go to the playoffs. I want at least to help ensure that you could get a little bit better offensively to help that process.
I get it, man. Listen, I get it. I get it. And you were breaking up a little bit. I don't know what's going on, man. Normally, he used to call in and have to clear his phone. Now it's breaking up a little bit.
Hey, Sam, can I say something?
He must have went to Connecticut and bought one of them phones that Isaiah be selling.
That's my man, AD.
He must have went and bought one of them phones that, yeah.
That's my man.
We all know the kind of phones Isaiah sells. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, our connections are pretty dang great out here. Pretty dang great. But so I wanted to say something. Kevin, I don't know what you did. I wanted to say something.
Hold on. Let him finish. Go ahead, Isaiah. Go ahead.
I want to say what Nikola was like, he can't wait oh my God. Nikola said he can't wait 4 months. My thing is, if you can wait 20 years of being bad, you can wait 4 months to be in a spot. I get that Knicks fans wanted us to make a move, and you're disappointed because we didn't really do nothing. But it's a process. How many times have we been talking about a process? How many times have Knicks fans complained about not being patient? We have been complaining about not being patient, rushing things. But now that we're in a good position, we are in a good position to make big moves in the offseason. We're going to complain about something that's going on at the trade deadline. And again, I get that Knicks fans want to go to the next step, but it's a process. And the fact that we're still, I don't get we're complaining that we act like we just gave up. No, the Knicks didn't do a move. We gave up. We're not gonna go. We're not gonna make the playoffs. People gotta also understand that it's not 1 through 8 anymore. It's 1 through 10. And the worst case scenario, the Knicks, which I doubt they're gonna fall that past 10. They're not gonna fall past 10. Just the way we play defense, the way we're competitive, we're not gonna fall past 10. We are still going to have a chance to make it in. We're going to have a chance. This team's not going to go
playoffs, though.
But it can't be fake if it's real. I know it can't be fake if it's real. But I'm just saying. But listen, we're fine. I'm just getting. I'm getting.
The thing is, no, hold up. Okay. We get what you're saying. You got to get to the point sometimes, man. The thing is, the guy that called, he's been on this way before the trade deadline. Trust me. Way before the trade deadline, AD has been talking about we need upgrades. So it's not like he's just all of a sudden at the trade deadline is like, oh, we didn't make upgrades. You know what I mean? He's been there. He's been saying the same thing for a long time. I want to welcome our guest, Dominic. Dominic, you got to unmute. Let me send you a thing to unmute yourself. Welcome, Dominic.
Hey, Dom, how you doing?
What's up, Cornerstone Kev? It's nice to see you again, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Glad to have you on the show, man. Glad to have you on the show. How do you feel about the Knicks and what we did at the deadline, man?
You know, honestly, I feel great for what we did at the trade deadline. We got like 2 players, so I feel good for that. And I feel good, and I hope we can make the playoffs. So we'll see how we do with the players that we got.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, those 2 guys, we got Terrence Fergusson. Who was the other guy, Andy?
Vincent Poirier, the center from the 76ers, previously from the Boston Celtics.
Right.
A power forward center, actually.
Right. I think that those 2 guys are going to be, I don't want to say buyout candidates, but if the Knicks are able to try to sign like a LaMarcus Aldridge or Andre Drummond or whoever else, one of those guys will probably go. You know what I'm saying? Dominic, do you think the Knicks should try to go after Andre Drummond or LaMarcus Aldridge?
I would have to say Andre Drummond.
Okay. All right. Now, I think a report came out yesterday. 2 conflicting reports. Ian Begley said the Knicks are, not really interested. Then another report came out to say that the Knicks are serious contenders for Andre Drummond.
Yeah, so who do you believe,
Right, that's the thing. Who do you believe out of those 2? Who knows? But I think that they would be interested in Andre Drummond if he reached the buyout market. I always thought that they would if he reached the buyout market. And I still would not count them out because of the fact that they can offer the most money. And I just think that means something. Like we've been saying, the ability, I don't know what LaMarcus Aldridge was making this year, but Andre Drummond was making $28.7 million. Okay? Now, let's say he gets bought out for 25. Right? And then the Knicks say, we'll give you another 10 for the rest of this season. That means he just made $35 million for this season.
That's crazy.
That would be crazy.
Hey,
right?
Sam,
that means he just made
$25 million, by the way.
He made $25 million?
Yeah, he made $24 million this year.
$24 million this year. Right.
Isaiah, but Sim, if I can chime in here, it doesn't work exactly like that he made the 25 million. He made, because let's call it the half season. So he got half of the cash, and now they just got to agree if they're going to give him the rest now, or they're going to split up the money and he's going to walk away with a little bit less than the rest.
Well, yeah, right.
If someone else, for example, let's say LaMarcus Aldridge agrees that he's going to get, for example, buyed out for $5 million, right? So if the Knicks sign him for $3 million, the Spurs only pay the $2 million and he gets the $3 million from us.
Okay.
So it's not like they can make $50 million because they're going to, play half a season here, half a season there.
See, I always thought that they could. I always thought that they could get what was on top of it once the buyout was agreed. I guess maybe that can be in the buyout contract. If you sign to another team, then we only pay this much. That much.
Well, Sim, that can happen if they, if I'm correct, if they get waived, because if you waive a player, the whole salary counts versus your cap. So you basically have to pay the whole thing, but he doesn't have to agree.
So my thing is this then, if that's the case, because see, I thought once they were bought out, they were just free agents and they could get whatever. Because if that's the case, then the Knicks really don't have an upper hand with the amount of money that they have available.
Yeah, because they only have, because they can, for example, they can give him still more. Because, for example, if he buys out for, let's call it the $5 million, and let's get an example of Andre Drummond, right? He was getting $30 million. It's a half season. He get 15. He can buy out for $10 million with $10 million with the Cavs, right? So they spread that $10 million till the end of the season. So he's going to get weekly, monthly, whatever payments. But if he agrees with the Knicks over 10 million, he's going to get, a better option there. So he can get more money.
I see. So that, okay. So I get it. So say he was making 30, they bought him out for 25. We'll just, use these kind of numbers. The Knicks say, we'll give you 10. Yeah. So now, he still can make that extra $5 million over.
Yeah, and we got to remember, Sim, that players that want to get into agreement to break up that contract via buyout, they can agree basically, I just want to go. So I don't want any money. And then we have the upper hand because we can give him the money that he never would get from those teams.
Right.
That's why it works like that. Meanwhile, when you get waived, you for example, you signed a contract before the season, and you're going to get that money whatever happens. But if they waive you, they just don't want to have you on the roster, but they still got to pay you the money because you signed it before the whole season started, right? So, it works like that.
I see.
Because it would be not fair. So, for example, Drummond just hates the Cavs. He doesn't want to work for them, basically. So he can say, okay, just give me, $1 million out of it. They're going to be happy because they're not going to have to pay him, the $15 million. So they're going to be happy. And then he has a clean slate. He can sign with whoever he wants. He even get more than $1 million for, even more than the $15 million that he would get from the Cavs. But, basically players just sign for the minimums because they want to chase rings. And the teams that are capped out only can give vet minimums worth of deals. That's why, there never was a situation that, for example, a guy got bought out and get more money than in the first half of the season.
You do have a good point there, Andy. That's a good point.
Yeah, and that is a good point. So we'll see how, we'll see how that works for the Knicks, and if they're able to use that leverage. I think they will, and LaMarcus Aldridge is going to be a guy that they consider. And then, of course, if they did happen to bring in LaMarcus Aldridge, then it's going to come down to what happens. What happens with Mitch, Nerlens Noel, what he do, because you got all three of them on the team. Although, now you got all three of them on the team, so then it comes down to that. I don't know if they're talking about chemistry. I don't know if they want to break up that chemistry. Right? I don't know if they want to bring in someone like Andre Drummond and then, you ruffle Mitch's feathers, you ruffle Nerlens Noel feathers. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to come in and start for you. So I just don't know that they want to ruffle that chemistry that way.
Well, Andre Drummond would be that kind of guy that can ruffle feathers and make, for example, basically Mitch uncomfortable because he probably is already thinking about the next contract, right? Meanwhile, a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, they know that he's a great vet, former All-Star. They can learn from him, and he's not going to command money or take money because they're not going to be able to give away money for their extension because LaMarcus is going to get 10, 15 million. So, I think they would be cool with LaMarcus Aldridge. Meanwhile, Drummond could definitely, work in a favor for the management because they would have a bargaining chip versus Mitch, right? Versus his offer. Because he can demand money when they're going to have, an insurance policy in Andrew Drummond. They can say, listen, we want you here, but we are able to give you 10 or 12 million. We're not going to be paying you 20 million because we have another option in Andre Drummond that's sitting on the bench. So,
yeah. According to Woj, once LaMarcus Aldridge completes the buyout with the Spurs, as we know, Miami is expected to be the front runner, but he does plan to talk with other teams. So, I think if he plans to talk with other teams, I think the Knicks should be one of them because that backup power forward spot to me is probably the most important part of the most important thing we need to solidify right now, I think. There may be some other guards that come on the market. If we can find a way to solidify that, and then if a Terrence Ross gets bought out, which I don't know, we don't know if he will or if he won't, but if he does get bought out, then you bring in someone like a Terrence Ross, now you really did, you really did upgrade.
So I'm gonna need you at that pitch meeting. So I'm gonna need you at that pitch meeting for Terrence Ross, because I feel like you're gonna get him here.
Hey, I think Terrence Ross would be happy to come to New York. I don't think you got to pitch him, but there'd be other teams. There'd be other teams trying to get him. I don't know if they I don't know if they'd be looking to buy him out or not.
Sam, I promise you, the way you talk about Terrence Ross, he better be J.R. Smith in 2013. I need him to be like that the way we talk about him.
You've already seen him play. You already know what he can do. You already seen him play. I don't need to do anything.
He better come out like J.R. Smith. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm gonna kill you every time he does it.
Well,
I think he is close to J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith can get you 30, and then the next time he'll hit
six.
miss a shot that would have won the game. Right.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks didn't do much at the trade deadline. I think, listen, they warned us. They told us they might not do much, and they didn't. Right? The Knicks didn't do much at the trade deadline. So here we are. They got who are the two guys? They got Terrence Fergusson, and what's the other guy again?
Vincent Poirier.
Vincent Poirier. I don't know much about either one of these two guys. So I guess we'll learn a little bit more about them. I don't know anything. I don't know what else to say. Besides, now we just got to look at that buyout market. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. We played tonight. We played the Washington Wizards tonight in about 3.5 hours. We blew them out the last game. Right now, most of our rotation players should feel comfortable. They should be, feeling like, hey, we made it through the trade deadline. We're still on the team. This is who we're rocking with. Let's go. Should have a good effect on them tonight. The Washington Wizards, they did lose a couple of players. Moe Wagner, Troy Brown, right? So I don't know if they are actually, Troy Brown got a little bit of playing time. Moe Wagner wasn't really getting that much playing time. So I don't know if that's going to hurt, it's not really going to hurt their roster. Any players that they brought back, it's not going to play tonight. What's your expectations on tonight, Steph?
Well, hopefully the Knicks will have more energy. I mean, I'm sure they won't be going into the game disappointed like me. So they'll be happy. They'll be that they're all still there. Yeah, I think they'll be ready. I think that Washington is going to play Randall different. So the other players, I don't know if they're going to double team. They're going to play a zone, but I don't think they're going to allow him to just come out and start the way he started last game. So there's going to be some wrinkles there, and hopefully the rest of the team is ready to contribute. We're going to need more than two people to contribute. So yeah, we need this one too. The schedule is not getting easier, and there's some teams around us that have upgraded. So we need this one.
Right. We need this one. We definitely need this one pretty bad. Andy?
Well, I think the biggest difference in this matchup is going to be the Knicks missing Reggie Bullock, because he's out with an ankle sprain. And we saw him basically take care of Bradley Beal for us. And, that's one of the players that we have to look out for. So I'm guessing, the Knicks will try to stay with the same tactics, doubling Beal and really playing him really close. If we're going to manage to do that, the outcome could be the same. Like Steph said, though, they're probably going to switch up on their tactics versus Randall, at least. I think RJ also played above expectations of the Washington scouts, because I don't think that they expected this kind of a game from RJ. He was playing a little bit different game. He was taking those threes from the corners, from the sides. So I think they were expecting a little bit different game from him. But yeah, mostly I think us missing Reggie Bullock is going to be the biggest gap that we will have to fill in. I wonder if Tibbs is going to use Frank there, or if he's going to plug in Alec Burks in the starting lineup. I don't see him that of a great defender versus Beal. So, me personally, I would try with Frank, but we know that, Frank didn't see basically the court last game. So I'm kind of, thinking what Tibbs is going to, show us in the starting lineup even because, Reggie is out. So he got to fill in that roster spot. And to be true, I think he has answers for basically every position except Randall and actually Reggie Bullock, because we had injuries at the point guard spot, which we filled in with Rose and other point guards, even Alec Burks, but we never had Reggie missing. I think maybe once he didn't play, and we lost that game. So I think this is going to be interesting. What kind of a lineup he's gonna show us today.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The Kings are gonna release Jabari Parker. Are you interested in him?
Yeah, that's an interesting name.
It is. I mean, yeah, Jabari Parker has so much promise, but then, obviously injuries. Injuries got to him. Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question. What's he been doing? Jabari Parker.
Has he even been playing for the Kings? Because I know when we played him, I don't think he played.
I don't think he played. I don't think he's been playing. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know. Let me get to a caller. Caller, you live. What's popping?
I got a trade for the Lakers.
You said you have a trade for the Lakers?
Yeah.
Trade deadline is over, man. There's not much they can do. But go ahead.
I like Dennis Schroeder. He got to go.
You like Dennis Schroeder, but he's got to go. Well, I think the Lakers are stuck with Dennis Schroeder for at least the remainder of this year. Now, he might go next year as they look to add some point guard strength. But for this year, I think he's there.
I like A.J. Drummond to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's a big possibility. As a matter of fact, I think the Lakers are the front runners for Andre Drummond, but the Brooklyn Nets, they're gonna be in the running. Maybe the Miami Heat and maybe the New York Knicks too. So we'll see. I think that there's gonna be some teams in the running, but the Los Angeles Lakers, they're probably the favorites to get them.
That's why I like them better than who they got in Lakers. We need to win tonight. I'm a Lakers fan, so.
Yeah, who do the Lakers play tonight?
The 76ers.
Whew. No AD, no LeBron. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
That's my king. I love him dearly. I feel bad he got that ankle. That was sad when he broke his ankle bad.
Yeah. I think it's sprained. It's a high ankle sprain, so he'll be back in a few weeks, but that's going to be a tough one for the Lakers tonight. Hey, man, I appreciate your call, man. Thank you for the time.
Appreciate it, boss.
Peace, man. Let me get to another caller here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
How's it going?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Doing well. I've been out of the house today. I just checked the deadline. I was hoping to see some Lonzo Ball action for cheap, but I'm glad they didn't do anything crazy. And I just wanted to say I couldn't agree with you guys more about that backup 4 spot. I'd love to go out and get LaMarcus Aldridge to back up Randall and redshirt Obi for the rest of the season, or at least until he starts doing something. I think that'd help him big time.
Yeah. Listen, he's going to listen to some other offers. He's already been bought out. Quindell Berry Thank you for the super chat. He said, how many days till teams negotiate buyouts? They're negotiating buyouts right now. So that buyout market begins now. You know what I mean? And I do hope the Knicks. I'm not a big fan of LaMarcus Aldridge. But in this particular case, I think he works well with the Knicks. I really do.
Yeah, he's an upgrade over Obi, and he's an upgrade over the alternatives on the roster. You know, I like Taj, but Aldridge is better. And, you know, Knox he's better than Knox. So, I mean, Andre Drummond would be the ideal scenario, but that's a huge commitment. Mm-hmm. And you're probably bringing him in to be the starting 5 long term, and that kind of affects Mitch and all that stuff, right? You're not gonna bring in Drummond to back up Randall for the rest of the season, unless, I mean, if they did that, that'd be fantastic. But I don't see that happening.
Right. Yeah, they definitely aren't going to do that. They're not going to bring Andre Drummond in to come off the bench. No. So right. We'll see what happens on that buyout market, man. What do you think about the Knicks Wizards tonight?
I think they'll win. I mean, I think the Knicks are past let down. I'm not saying they haven't let us down this season, but they're winning the games they should. And I can't recall a game where they got like completely destroyed by a team that we thought that they were going to hang with. You know, I don't know, maybe against the Magic that one time down in Orlando, but other than that, they're winning these games that they're supposed to win, and they're not suffering any sort of psychological defeats from these close losses. They're not getting high on their own supply. You know, they're playing every game one at a time, and I think they're the better team. I think they're going to win again.
I hope so. I think we will win again, and that's going to be great. We need it because then we play Milwaukee after this. I mean, the schedule just, the schedule is tough. And Miami, who Victor Oladipo.
I want that Miami game. I want that. The Knicks can beat Miami, and the Knicks can beat Philly, even though they're 0-5 against both of them this season. They could beat both of those. Both of those teams can be had.
Yeah. The thing about Miami, when we finally play Miami in a couple of days, Victor Oladipo is going to be ready, and maybe even LaMarcus Aldridge.
That's fine. I mean, look at what they got Depot for. The Knicks did not want him. I mean, the Knicks could have had Poirier. I can't say his name. The guy on Orlando that we just played.
Fournier.
Yeah. They could have had him for those picks, two second-round picks. They could have probably had Depot too, right?
What did Oladipo get moved for? I mean, it wasn't a whole lot. I forgot what he got moved for. But I mean,
Avery Bradley and a pick swap, I think.
And Kelly
Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and a pick swap. I mean, they probably could have. And as far as Evan Fournier, I think it's a little bit deeper than just the 2 second-round picks for the Knicks, because Orlando probably didn't want to take money back and take players back, and the Knicks might have had to send a player back. I think it probably worked out somewhere around it like that. But I get what you're saying. The Knicks were being frugal, right? And that's what we want from this front office. We want them to be frugal. But still, Miami got better. And if you add Victor Oladipo and you add LaMarcus Aldridge, it's two guys that are pretty good.
I think realistically, the Knicks, obviously, they should be aiming for that 4th seed, but we should be very, very happy with the 5th or the 6th seed by the end of the season.
The 5th, listen, I'll be happy with I don't want to be in 6, 7, or 8, right? Because that means you're facing Philadelphia, Milwaukee, or Brooklyn,
right?
So the 5th or the 4th seed, I'd love, which it just got tougher to get, but I'd love to have one of those. Yeah. I'd take anything in the playoffs right now, just so we can get into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
But
I'd love to see a 4-5 first round with Miami, like the old times.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Get to one more call here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hello.
How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Good, man. Good. I'm feeling like I'm hearing an echo.
Say that again?
Okay. I just want to say that people want Frank to be traded. The same thing was happening with Julius Randle. And nobody was expecting him to become who he is right now. But now, what I want to say is that we're gonna go to the playoffs. We might get there like crawling, but we will get there. And when we get there, we're gonna get everything. You know why? Because our team is young and they are playing like with vice. You know, like they wanna get it. And Frank, the reason they haven't traded Frank is because they see the same thing they saw on Randle last year. And I just wish everybody a good day, you know, but that's how I feel with the Knicks. I believe in Frank because the way he hooped, I believe he has like a lot of potential. So that's why they haven't traded him.
Okay. Well,
Let's see if we get to the play. I believe we're gonna get there.
Okay.
But I cannot say for sure because I cannot talk like that. But if that moment comes, it's gonna be something else.
Okay.
Nobody, nobody was betting the Knicks where they are right now. So something better is gonna come next.
All right. Well, you know, hopefully, hopefully Frank, Tom Thibodeau said that Frank Ntilikina, he feels like Frank Ntilikina can be a piece. Hopefully he continues to, listen, he survived the trade deadline. We'll see what happens in the offseason.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your program. It's really good, and, let's keep it up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the call. Take care.
All right. Well, there go the treasurer, Andy. You went on. There goes the treasurer.
There you go.
We got the president and the vice president. There go the treasurer right there.
Right there. Calling you live. What's poppin'?
What's going on, Simmons?
AK, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you feeling, man?
I'm real good, though. I like what the Knicks did, man. No big moves. They ain't giving nobody big. We got a second-round pick. I'm liking it.
Okay. All right. What do you feel about the buyout market?
Buyout? I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to get Drummond. We don't need Drummond.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Rob Al in the market said John Wall is a buyout candidate. What do you think? Would you consider John Wall?
Yes.
No. I'd rather keep Derrick Rose.
I don't think that means you get rid of Derrick Rose. I think you still keep him.
I don't want John Wall. He injury prone.
You say he's what?
He's injury prone.
Oh,
man.
Injury. I mean, he is injury prone, but he's definitely an upgrade at that point guard spot.
Definitely, yeah.
And you got the whole Kentucky thing going on, Kenny Payne and those guys. You know what I'm saying? If he's on a buyout market, he could end up in New York if he's on that buyout market. You never know.
Nick sneaky. I don't know.
Obviously you'd have to waive, some other guards to get him there. I don't know. That would be interesting. This buyout market, is going to be crazy this year. This buyout market. I don't know if these guys, everyone that we're talking about is definitely going to be on the market, but there's definitely a chance that this buyout market is, pretty heavy with players and availability.
Yep.
I mean, and the Knicks may be able to upgrade without even, giving up anything but money they already got. So,
that's what I'd rather do.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But hey, what do you think about tonight's game?
Knicks gonna win. I see another blowout. We don't got Bullock, right?
Bullock is out tonight. Right, Bullock is out tonight. That always scares me, man. I'm not gonna lie. That always scares me because he's such a cog to that defense. Such a cog to that defense, so it always scares me when
Bill
Bullock
may
is out.
spaz out tonight. Bill may get like 40, man.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that.
RJ got to get 40 with him.
Yeah, RJ got it right. Exactly. RJ got to get 40 with him. Yeah. But AK, I appreciate the call. But, yep.
My
go
bad.
ahead.
One more question. I'm sorry. Yo, they got rid of Igna?
Yeah. Iggy went to Philly.
Okay.
Yep, he's in Philly now. He's in Philly.
All right, yo, peace to the chat, man. Yo, good looking, Sam.
Appreciate you, man. Peace. All right, well, get the one more call, then I'm going to head up out of here. Yeah. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Yeah. Hey, guys. I'm hearing this previous caller still on the line, but if you guys can hear me, you made a good point. This buyout, this buyout is a, this
kind of breaking up there, my man. If you can call back, you can call back later on tonight. I got you. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Peace. What's going on, man? It's Big Wayne from the Bronx.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I feel great. We didn't make any crazy moves today. I'm happy my man Obi is still on the squad because I got faith. So I'm not giving up. I don't care what anybody says. So that's all I was concerned. I was worried about Obi. That's it. I'm not worried about nothing else.
All right. Hey, he's still here. He's still here. So he's trucking it. He's trucking it. He's still here.
He had a terrible last game, man, but I'm telling you, he is due for a breakout, man. But what did I say again from last time? The coach is running Randall and them to the ground, man. We up by 25. How you still got them playing in the game? Come on, you got to give the young boys a chance, man.
Yo, I mean, I think the big thing is that Tom Thibodeau don't want to lose games, and if he starts feeling a little bit nervous, Tom probably got some anxiety issues too. You know what I mean? So the league go from 20 to 18. He's like, oh my God, they let him come back. And he starts yanking people. So you know how that's gonna be. That's the reason why someone like a LaMarcus Aldridge though is would be good for this team because Obi's got a lot of learning to do. And Tom Thibodeau wants to win. So you get someone like a LaMarcus Aldridge as long as he's willing to come off the bench. That can be a backup 4. He wants to play 4. He don't really like playing the 5. He can be a backup 4 next to Nerlens Noel. You add something to that second unit, man. And I think that could be a big move for us. And then it gives Julius Randle a much needed break. So he's healthier to come down the stretch. And he's also a guy that, because he has played 5, and as long as he's cool with it, you come down the stretch and you Nerlens Noel and Mitch both in foul trouble or something crazy, you can throw him out there.
You can play the center, right?
Yeah,
right.
You can throw him
I'm just not really a fan of Aldridge, and at this point in his career, I can't really see him come to the Knicks like that. I mean, he's going to front run like everybody else. He's probably going to the Nets or whoever has an empty spot for him who's a contender. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. But I'm happy they stand pat. But tonight we're going to do it. Tonight's going to be the night for Obi, man. Fingers crossed.
All right. I hope so. I need him to have a big game. I need him to.
All right. Y'all have a good one, man. Take care.
You too, man. Appreciate it.
All right, you too.
Peace.
Yeah, we need Obi to have a big game. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, just before we go, because the caller, he was fine with the roster staying pat. I kind of feel that this current roster overachieved that much that I feel they kind of deserve to be developing till the end of the season in the current, squad, let's call it. Rivers came in also with this team. At some point he got out basically. We don't know what happened, if there was some kind of an off-court incident, whatever. He was in the rotation. He wasn't in the rotation. So I don't think we had to stick with him. So I think that move didn't shake any chemistry out. But I think, this might be some kind of thing that they actually deserved, or by overachieving this much, I think that they deserve to, at least play out the season. And that's why I'm also not, that much of upset that we didn't make a huge move.
Right.
I'm a kind of, fine with it. Would I be happy? I would be happy if we would make a move for Lonzo on a cheaper or stuff, right? But, I can live with it. I'm not like like we lost the lottery or something, like fell 10 spots below our expectation. But I think I can live with this till the end of the season.
Okay. Let me get to this caller. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Yo, what's good, Sims?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Good. This is Jason from Florida. I'm a Brooklyn, New York cat.
Okay.
The dude who said he was going to get his jersey, Randolph jersey.
Right.
Yeah, this is him.
Yeah. You get that jersey yet?
Man, I got it from yesterday.
Okay. All right. Good. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Keep it.
He gonna do it again. He gonna show out again like the last game with the Wizards.
Yeah, 37 points last game with the Wizards. I'm pretty sure the Wizards are going to try to, find some ways to,
yeah.
they're going to try to find a way to stop it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'm kind of disappointed because they ain't get no Drummond or Oladipo. They ain't got really nothing big.
Well, Andre Drummond he can still be had, right? Because he's getting bought out by the Cleveland Cavaliers, so he could still be had.
Right.
There's still something that can happen on that buyout market. Let's see how many players get bought out. That's what there's going to be some players that we don't even know who gets bought out. Let's see if the Knicks decide to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if that happened, that would be a boost.
Yeah, a boost. That's what people were hoping at the trade deadline. Didn't happen, so we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Sims, I know you got more calls.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
All right, let's go, Knicks.
All right, let's go. Peace. All right, let's see if I can see if there's any more news on tonight's game besides. Was there anybody else out besides Reggie Bullock?
Rivers. And Noel and Quickly. Oh, sorry, not Noel and Quickly. I think Quickly and maybe it was Noel and Quickly that were probable.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Knicks PR right now. Nerlens Noel is probable with a sore right shoulder. Yeah. Alfred Payton, sore left hamstring. He's probable, so he's going to play. And then out, Reggie Bullock is out. And, of course, Austin Rivers has been traded. So
he's out.
He's out. He's out. And those new guys, they won't be here until, it'll be a day or two. They obviously won't be on a roster tonight, but it'll be a day or two for those guys to
maybe for the Miami game on Monday.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks didn't do anything at the trade deadline. I'm going to, tonight for the game, post game, I'll have a full wrap up of, just really focusing in on what the Knicks did and stuff like that, and take another look around the league and talk about more buyout options and stuff like that. Steph, were you getting ready to say something?
No,
Oh, okay. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks stood pat. The Knicks play the Wizards tonight without many changes, nothing significant, no significant changes to the roster. Thank you for joining us for the trade deadline special. It was fun. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Right? If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Smash that like button. All right. And catch us tonight about 10:15 for the Knicks post-game show. All right. Steph, any last words you want to add? Let me hold on. Give me 1 second, Steph. Andy, you can go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah, it's like last game versus the Washington Wizards. They are a couple of spots below us, so I'm expecting us to get a W. And by expecting us to get a W, I mean that we really should win games versus weaker opponents. And I understand that they got plenty of firepower, but we're in this spot because we played basketball through the half of the season. Exactly, probably same amount of games that they had the chances to get W's. So, at this point of the season, I think we are really a better team than the Wizards, and we should get W's versus worse teams than us. That is a characteristic of a team that's not by any chance by luck in this position. So let's get this W.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Steph.
I agree with Andy, but there is some concern with Bullock being out in terms of playing either Bill or Westbrook. Hopefully we go with Frank. And, we go as our shooting goes. So, yeah, well, I shouldn't say that. Our defense is pretty much there all the time, but we have to get guys that's going to shoot other than Randall and RJ, and hopefully we get that today.
Yeah. Isaiah?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my video.
I don't know, but
I think you disabled me, but it's okay. You don't want me still all the girls. It's all right.
Is that really an S21?
Yeah, I got a little bit of money.
It doesn't cost you to change the name on the Zoom.
Let's see if we can. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't cost him anything to do that, But leave it to him there. Leave it to him.
Oh, there we go.
You know what I mean?
There's the money. There's the money maker.
The thing is, I removed your video because you kept coming in and out, and it was disrupting me. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. It's nice if people could just stay on the screen. Every once in a while, I get it, but it's like I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in and out.
I guess I'm the one that got to be the example.
And I start getting dizzy.
Anyways, before we go, I would like us to get to 400 likes before we can go. I think we're at like 370 something, so if we can get to 400 likes before we can go, that'd be greatly appreciated. Tonight, man, I think this is going to be a battle tonight. I think it's not going to be as easy as it was last time blowing these guys out. I think Bradley Beal, Westbrook are coming out with a mission. Again, they got embarrassed. They got truly embarrassed. So I think they're going to definitely come out hard. Yeah, we just got to fight tonight. I think he's going to fight because we really need this win because, again, we got the Milwaukee Bucks that are on a winning streak. We got the Heat that are just upgraded. And we already had a tough time beating them. So we need this win. And hopefully, we go 1 out of 2 the next after this one. So let's go Knicks, man. We can win this game. We just got to play hard.
Yeah, let's get it. I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check us tonight about 10:15. We'll, of course, wrap up the game. And, we'll have another wrap up of everything that's going on in the trade deadline. And then there he goes again. That's what I'm saying. He's here, then he's not here. He's here, then he's not here.
That wasn't me.
You see what I'm saying?
That wasn't me.
Oh, man. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason. That's the reason, folks. He wants to make it like it's everybody else's fault. But we will catch you tonight at 10:15 to do a post-game show and wrap up everything that happened with today. We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. Spread love, ladies and gentlemen. Out.